Hello everybody, I'm gonna be showing you an amazing game between me, playing as a Vanguard, and my opponent Ernst. This is a very nice game where I learned something new for my Infernal plays in this game, because I was playing against a high tier player who really surprised me this time. Because normally I got used to playing against Infernals, this is my best matchup so far, and I feel like the game is pretty straightforward for Vanguard, to be honest, because you just mass Exos and you just kite pretty much. That's the whole gameplay at the moment. But this guy was a bit more sophisticated than I thought at the first time that I met him. So for this game I'm going for my signature build order, where I just build from one base, go for the double racks and just try to roam around the map. After the recent patch, the creeping got much more lucrative and it just makes sense to take the map control as soon as you can. And this is exactly what I'm gonna be doing this game. So my opponent is going for the scouting, Hexen is just going out, seeing what's happening here on my side of the map, and he sees the first racks. He knows that I'm gonna be slightly more aggressive than normal, because, well, a lot of Vanguard players are just taking the expansion before they get the racks. This is considered to be the meta play style. You just take the base and then you only build the racks and go for Exos after that, and just build a sentry post if you need, and just scout with the dog. And my opponent is going for a shrine himself, so he's expanding, but he also already has an iron vault, so he's gonna be taking some creeps on the map as well. I'm going for the health camp first because this is the easiest one in the game. You can easily take it out with only just one lancer and one dog, and if you position your lancer in this line, it will be attacking multiple targets at the same time, because it's, you know, it just has this effect. You can deal some AoE damage, but only in one straight line. It's not very, the line is not very long, but still, it just does some extra nice AoE damage, and I'm just taking this creep camp easily. But my opponent does exactly the same. He's putting down this effigy for extra healing, because he gets white HP restored, because he stands on the shroud, and he's gonna be just taking this creep camp with ease just as well as I did a moment ago. So I'm just still building Lancers right now, and there's gonna be another fight with Shadow Demons this time, and this is obviously gonna be easy as well. My opponent has a slight advantage right now because he already has the shrine. He's gonna be building a bit more workers than I do, and obviously I need quite a lot of resources to spend on the second base. And technically I can do it right now, but I prefer to get a large army and go for like a first push, and then if I fail the push or if I trade poorly, then only then I take the base. And I feel like this is a valid gameplay choice right now, at least in the current patch. Things might change a little, maybe as they did with the previous patch, because like previously just farming creeps was a very nice strategy. It got even better, but maybe in the future they'll nerf that and they'll make creeps less efficient, but for now it's a very nice strategy to just gain map control and gain extra income by killing creeps and also getting these passive resources, both Luminite and Therium. And my opponent is obviously doing exactly the same. And around this time I'm adding extra barracks, and also it's time to produce more Exos. On most maps they are really good, but with this map specifically, this is a very nice one because it's large, has a lot of open space to engage with Infernals, and I already scouted his first army and I realized, okay, so this guy is also trying to get some map control, so I'm just trying to intercept this force of Infernals and just cut them all in one moment here, because I have a very nice lance advantage, just have too many of them actually, so this is gonna be a really nice fight for me. My opponent just trying to engage, still he's trying to split some of his brutes to maybe escape, and it actually works out really well because he manages to save a lot of his units here and just going back on his shroud to regenerate. Technically I could have tried to attack him here because there was a possibility to do so, because he's stacking up, he's mining quite a bit of the Therium, and he's obviously going for the upgrade on the shrine to make some magma downs, because this is something that you desperately need against Exos and just in general against Vanguard. And to be honest, pretty much this works in every single matchup, because you can't really play any matchups as Infernals without building magma downs. They're a must-have tool for anything on the ground. And yeah, at this time I'm just looking what I can do with my units, but my opponent has a formidable force right now. A couple of brutes, 7 in total, and he's actually trying to scout what I'm doing here, but obviously it's still really scary for him to engage, because brutes, they don't have the same speed as Lancers do, and Lancers can easily kite back and just keep on doing damage and just retreating and retreating as much as I want. And at this moment my opponent is just struggling to catch this army, and I already have my first reinforcements in form of Exos arriving, and this is going to be a tough battle for him, but he still manages to push me away from the base, and I even feel a bit scared because, well, has a really nice army and I need to maybe regroup a bit. And there's the first Magma Dome, and my opponent could be using that against me. But on this map it's pretty tough to do actually, because, well, you need to go around, you need to maybe engage from the side, and at the moment right now he's just losing his brutes, and this is not looking like a great engagement. There's the second Magma Dome, he's trying to set up a trap right now, and I'm just getting exactly into it, and the brutes are coming, and no, they actually fins, and he's just splitting all of them and just trying to get a good sandwich on my army, and the Magma Dome is starting trampling, and yeah, I'm gonna be losing quite a lot of Lancers here. My opponent is doing a nice job here, but the kiting is also on point from my side, so I'm just getting a couple of fins and retreat, but I lost quite a bit of my Lancers here. But maybe I'm gonna be lucky to catch this one Magma Dome here, who is just turning back very unexpectedly and getting more of my Lancers. In total I have only one left, everyone else died, and now I need to just keep pushing because I know I'm in a world of trouble. I lost quite a bit of my army, I didn't gain much veterancy, and now my opponent also has a nice economy advantage, and also he already has tier 2 units, and this is gonna be getting only worse from now, so I'm just trying my best to engage. Here he's also going for another sandwich, he's trying to get a full surround on my forces, which is not really working out, and this is pretty much how you're supposed to play as Infernals. I didn't really figure that out previously because I was thinking that you just need to make a lot of brutes and guns and just have a really big army, but I think this is the proper way to play against Vanguard. You just build a lot of brutes, then you just split them up into feeds, and then you just attack with Magma Domes. You just get a nice sandwich, and then you just engage straight into Vanguard's army, and this works pretty much the same as with, well, let's say Zerglings and Banelings in StarCraft 2, because it was the case in that matchup as well. You just surround with Zerglings and Banelings just roll into the Terran's army, and here it works in a similar fashion, pretty much. So my opponent is now going for the third base. He feels like that's a nice timing for him to do that, and I feel the same because I just failed in multiple engagements, even though some of those trades were nice, but I still feel like I should be taking another base because, well, things might turn really bad for me if I'm not doing that, because at some point this mine is going to be expiring and I need something else, and I need some more units as well. Why not? Just makes sense, right? But my opponent's thinking the same. Infernals in general, they need a bit more resources. This is a very swarmy race in general, so they need to be always building more and more bases, taking more locations, expanding their economy, and this is a very nice playstyle if you like to play Zerg in StarCraft 2. I did play a lot of Zerg in StarCraft 2, it was my main race, and Infernals feel pretty much the same, to be honest. And they also struggle in the late game, because you need to have perfect engagements, you need to have really 360-degree surrounds, and this is really difficult to achieve on some of the maps. This map is not an exception, but here at least you have some open space. You can just cut the freeze and maybe just go for a big arc. This is a possibility actually, and now I'm just going to engage with my opponent once again. I have a nice number of exits and I see, okay, there is this third base and there is a Shroud Stone that was upgrading. And yeah, another Shroud Stone doesn't really work out well for my opponent. He's just looking for this sweet engagement, but feels like, yeah, he just trying to set up a trap, but I kind of feel that this is going to happen because I already saw his trick with brute splitting, so I know what to expect here. And oh my god, he's going for that once again, trying to surround my whole army, but this time the Magma Domes are not quite in the position, but still he manages to do that. But there is just a lot of DPS from the exits, but still some of them are gonna be getting caught here and probably gonna be dying here. But no, actually the Magma Domes were just too far away from the main army, and he just didn't have enough time to surround all of my units and do all of that splash damage, so it didn't work out as he intended. And now I feel like I just need to clear out the trees because I don't want to fight in this choke point. This is really scary, so what I'm doing here is just cutting out the trees with my workers. Workers can do that with just attack move, and now I'm doing a push on his third base, and obviously this is gonna be just much harder for him to defend after he just lost his whole army pretty much. he already replaced that, and I don't have that much because, well, I was on one base for quite a while, but still, this army of Hexes is difficult to build, but he's still going for this brute split. This time, once again, 3 Magbanon's workers are coming up, and this time it's probably going to be just much more successful, but he's pressing the trample button on all of these units at the same time. He's getting some Exes, of course, but this is not looking good for my opponent, and he just gives up at this point because he understands that this game is just a lost cause for him by this time. But I think this was a very useful replay for you guys because, well, you can see as Infernos you can try to go for these engagements and it works really well. For my opponent it didn't really work out because he was just slightly behind me and he just mismicroed quite a bit because he had a very nice moment with a supply advantage, but he couldn't really get all of his units together at one spot in one piece. So this is why he actually lost the game. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more Stormgate content if you enjoyed that. Have a nice day and see you next time.